Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into the world of AI and its impact on the legal profession. We'll be talking about how AI is changing the game for lawyers. AI that can write legal documents and predict case outcomes, even help with research. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, the legal field is often seen as pretty traditional, even, slow to change. But AI is a potential disruption unlike anything we've seen before.
So let's get started. We've got a bunch of articles and research on generative AI, specifically how it's changing things for lawyers.
And these new generative AI models are so fascinating because they're going beyond just simple automation. They're like a new generation of legal tech. They can learn from tons of data
Yeah.
and generate totally new content.
That's what really gets me, the generating content part. How can a machine be creative?
Well, that's a great question. AI is still working within the boundaries of its programming. But the leap in complexity with these new models is huge. Just a few years ago, we were using tools based on simpler probabilistic models. They were helpful, but the output wasn't nearly as sophisticated or realistic as what we have now.
Right. It's like comparing a horse-drawn carriage to a Tesla. They both get you places.
Yeah.
But the technology underneath is totally different.
Exactly. And then came the era of deep learning. With algorithms inspired by the human brain, autoencoders showed us that data could be encoded and decoded, and that paved the way for more powerful architectures.
And then that led to the big breakthrough, generative adversarial networks, or GANs. I remember reading about this a while back. You've got two networks, one making content and the other one's like a judge, and they push each other to make increasingly realistic outputs.
It's almost like having two legal teams battling it out in AI form, each trying to outsmart the other. And that competition drives the learning process.
So it's not just mimicking what it's seen before, it's actually coming up with new stuff.
Yeah, in a sense, it's learning patterns and relationships from the data it's trained on, using those to create something new. And then in 2017, transformer models like GPT, the generative pre-trained transformer, came along.
And that's when things really took off. ChatGPT, Bard, everyone's talking about these tools. They seem to understand context and meaning in a way that's almost human.
Yeah, these transformer models have been trained on tons of data. Text and code, which gives them a broad understanding of language, and the ability to generate really coherent human-like text. And this has huge implications for the legal world.
So let's get into the specifics. What are some real-world applications of this technology that lawyers should be paying attention to?
Let's start with legal research. Instead of spending hours combing through case law, imagine having an AI that can summarize complex legal documents in seconds, pinpoint relevant precedents, and even identify potential arguments you might have missed.
Wow, that would be a huge time saver. But what about all those tedious legal documents we have to draft? Can AI help with that too?
Absolutely. Drafting contracts, pleadings, legal briefs, these are all tasks that AI can assist with. It could potentially automate a large part of the process, and that would free up lawyers to focus on higher-level strategy and client interaction, the things that really require human judgment and expertise.
So instead of getting bogged down in the details, AI can handle the grunt work, and lawyers can focus on the big picture.
Precisely. And it gets even more interesting when we talk about predictive analytics. AI can analyze huge amounts of case data to identify patterns and predict outcomes, potentially helping lawyers develop winning strategies.
Hold on, are we talking about AI replacing a lawyer's intuition?
No, not at all. AI is a tool, a powerful one, but it's about augmenting human judgment, not replacing it. AI can provide insights and data-driven analysis, but it's still up to the lawyer to interpret that information and make strategic decisions.
So it's like having a superpowered research assistant that can analyze data and spot trends, but ultimately the lawyer is still in control.
Exactly. AI can help you make more informed decisions, but it can't replace the human element of law, the strategy, the negotiation, the understanding of your client's needs.
And we can't forget about the client experience. Everyone wants to feel like their lawyer is really invested in their case. How can AI help with that?
That's a great point. AI can help improve client communication by answering common questions accurately, generating personalized reports and updates, and even drafting communications in plain language that clients can easily understand.
So it's not just about efficiency behind the scenes. It's also about making the legal process more transparent and accessible for clients.
Exactly. By automating routine tasks and providing quick access to information, AI can free up lawyers to spend more time on strategic thinking and building stronger relationships with their clients.
This is all incredibly exciting. But are there any potential downsides to all this AI awesomeness?
Of course, with any powerful technology, there are potential challenges. It's important to be aware of the limitations of AI and use it responsibly.
We'll definitely get into those challenges in a bit. But first, let's step back and think about the bigger picture. What does all this mean for the future of law?
That's a fascinating question. And honestly, one that's still unfolding. But one thing is clear. AI is not a passing fad. It's a fundamental shift in how legal work will be done.
So burying your head in the sand is not an option.
Exactly. Lawyers and law students who embrace AI and learn to use it effectively will be the ones who thrive in this new legal landscape.
Okay, that's a message I think everyone needs to hear. We'll be back in a moment to talk more about those challenges and the exciting future of AI in law. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to our deep dive into AI and the law. Before the break, we were talking about the potential of AI to revolutionize legal practice. And like we said, with any powerful tool, there are considerations we need to be mindful of. It's not just about adopting the tech, but understanding how to use it wisely.
Right, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of AI. But we have to remember that we're dealing with the law, with people's lives. So what are some of the challenges that lawyers should be thinking about as they navigate this new AI-powered world?
Well, one of the biggest shifts is the sheer volume of information lawyers will need to process. Imagine a world where AI can analyze thousands of cases. In the time it takes you to read one, that's a lot of data.
So it's not about AI replacing lawyers, but about lawyers needing to adapt to a much faster-paced, data-driven environment.
Exactly. Think of it as upgrading your mental hardware. The skills of analysis, critical thinking, strategic decision-making, those are going to be even more valuable.
So it's almost like lawyers will need to become data scientists in a way.
In a way, yes. Understanding how AI works, how to interpret its output, how to identify potential biases or limitations, that's going to be essential.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're relying on an AI tool to analyze data, you need to understand its strengths and weaknesses. You need to be able to tell if something doesn't look right.
Precisely. And this also raises the question of continuous learning. The legal field has always been about staying updated on new laws, precedents, legal strategies. But with AI, the pace of change is accelerating.
So it's not just about learning the law once, but about constantly adapting and updating your knowledge as AI technology evolves.
Absolutely. Lawyers who embrace this mindset of lifelong learning will be the ones who stay ahead of the curve.
And what about the role of human connection in law? So much of what lawyers do is about building trust, understanding their clients' needs, negotiating with other parties. Will AI change that?
That's a really important question, and one that's still being debated. Some people believe that AI could eventually automate certain aspects of client interaction, like answering basic questions or scheduling appointments.
But could AI ever truly replace that human element, the empathy, the ability to build rapport and connect with clients on a personal level?
Well, that's where I think the human touch will always be essential. Legal issues are often complex, emotionally charged. People need a lawyer who can understand their perspective, guide them through the process, and advocate for them effectively.
So it's about finding the right balance,
Yeah.
using AI to streamline processes and handle routine tasks, but always remembering that the heart of law is about human relationships.
Exactly. And this brings us to the question of ethics. As AI becomes more powerful, it's crucial that we use it in a way that is fair, transparent, and accountable.
All right, we can't just blindly trust AI to make legal decisions without understanding how it arrived at those conclusions. We need to be able to explain its reasoning, identify potential biases, and ensure that it's being used to promote justice, not undermine it.
And this is where the legal profession has a crucial role to play. Lawyers are trained to think critically, to analyze arguments, to identify potential ethical issues. These skills will be even more important in an AI-powered world.
So it's not about technology replacing lawyers, but about lawyers becoming even more essential as guardians of the law, ensuring that AI is used responsibly and ethically.
Precisely. Lawyers will need to become experts, not only in law, but also in the technology that's shaping the legal landscape.
And for law students just starting out, this must seem like a lot to take in. What advice would you give to those who are just beginning their legal journey?
I would say embrace the challenge. The legal field is going through a period of unprecedented change, and that can be daunting, but it's also incredibly exciting.
It's like being on the cusp of a new era, where technology is opening up possibilities we could only dream of a few years ago.
Exactly. So my advice to law students is this: be curious, be adaptable, and be willing to learn new things. Don't just focus on the traditional legal curriculum. Take courses in technology, data science, ethics. The more well-rounded you are, the better prepared you'll be for the future of law.
And don't be afraid to experiment. play around with new AI tools, learn how they work. Think about how they can be used to solve legal problems.
Absolutely. The legal profession needs creative thinkers who can bridge the gap between law and technology.
This has been a really insightful conversation. We've talked about the challenges, the opportunities, and the ethical considerations of AI and law. And one thing is clear, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, the legal landscape is evolving rapidly, and those who are willing to adapt and evolve with it will be the ones who shape the future of justice.
We'll be back in a moment to talk more about what that future might hold. Stay with us.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into AI and the law. It's been quite a journey. Cutting-edge tech, legal challenges, even some philosophical questions.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly this field is developing. What we're talking about today might seem totally normal in a few years, and then we'll probably have a whole new set of challenges to think about.
That's what's so exciting and a little scary, right? The future of law is being written right now, and AI is playing a big role in that. So as we wrap up, I wanted to ask you, what does this future look like to you? What's your most optimistic vision for AI in law? Well, I think the best case scenario is one where AI helps us create a more accessible legal system, a system that's fair for everyone. Imagine a world where everyone, no matter who they are or how much money they have, has access to basic legal information and guidance.
That would be amazing. Right now, the legal system can be so confusing, especially if you can't afford a lawyer.
Exactly. AI could help level the playing field. We're already seeing AI-powered chatbots that can answer common legal questions, help people through basic legal processes, even connect them with pro bono resources.
So instead of feeling lost and intimidated, people could have a virtual legal assistant.
Exactly. And imagine AI tools that help people create their own legal documents, like wills, contracts, even simple court filings.
Wow, that would be so empowering, especially for people who haven't always had equal access to the legal system.
Right. And on a larger scale, AI could help us identify and address systemic biases in the justice system. By analyzing huge amounts of data, AI could show us where those biases are and how to fix them.
So we could use technology to make the system not just more efficient, but actually fairer for everyone.
Exactly. And it's not just about access to justice. AI could also help make the legal system itself more efficient. Imagine AI tools that help judges manage their cases, find relevant precedents, even draft legal opinions.
So AI could free up judges and lawyers to focus on the more complex parts of their jobs.
Exactly. AI could handle the routine tasks, the data analysis, the document review, leaving human legal professionals to focus on judgment, creativity, and empathy.
This all sounds really promising, but I do have to ask, what about the potential downsides? What makes you cautious about AI and the law?
Well, I think the biggest concern is making sure AI is used ethically and responsibly. Like with any powerful technology, there's always the risk of misuse.
Right, we've seen how algorithms can be biased, spread misinformation, even be used for harmful purposes. We have to be really careful about how we develop and use AI in the legal system.
Absolutely. We need to be on the lookout for biases in AI systems, make sure they're transparent and accountable, and always have humans involved in the process.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but about the people who are building it, using it, and regulating it.
Exactly. We need lawyers, ethicists, data scientists, and policymakers, all working together to make sure AI is a force for good in the legal world.
It's not just about tech, it's about people. It's about using our collective wisdom and values to shape the future of law.
And recognizing that the legal profession is evolving, and the people who are willing to adapt and embrace new technologies will be the ones who succeed.
So what's your final piece of advice for our listeners, especially those who are just starting their legal careers?
Be curious, be open-minded. Don't be afraid to experiment with new tools and technologies. The future of law is being written right now, and you can be a part of it.
That's a great note to end on. This has been a fascinating conversation. Thanks so much for joining us on The Deep Dive.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us. We hope you've gotten a glimpse into the exciting world of AI and the law. Remember, the future isn't something that just happens. It's something we create together. Stay informed, stay engaged, and help us build a legal system that's truly just and equitable for everyone. Until next time, keep exploring.